That post on the Israeli embassy social media page is completely unacceptable. I was very upset when I was told about it.
And bear in mind the fact that we're in Singapore. In Singapore, we do things differently.
Hello everybody, so today we are going to talk about a tiny country like Singapore and how it has shown Israel its place. You know, the Israelis have been used to creating fake news to spread its fake propaganda, and that's exactly what they tried to do in Singapore a few days ago, and it failed spectacularly. What happened? That Israeli embassy in Singapore shared a post cherry picking a verse from Holy Quran to say that Israel belonged to Jewish people. The land of Israel belonged to Jewish people. Now, in the current situation where more than 30,000 people have been brutally killed by Israel, with the help of America and the UK and the European Union and Canada and Australia and whatnot, such posts did not go down well, and Singapore is a country which is known for its communal harmony. So as expected, Singapore government reacted very angrily. In fact, two ministers, one minister K. Shanmugam, who is the Home Minister, and the Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan, they minced no words. In fact, if you listen to what they had to say, I think that sends a very powerful message, not just to Israel, but to its supporters in Europe, in America, and even in the Arab world. Mind you, in fact, every single Arab country is an Israeli supporter, because if it wasn't, then they would have, shown some spine and spoken against Israeli atrocities. They haven't done so. Anyway, this is what K. Shanmugam had to say.
That post on the Israeli embassy social media page is completely unacceptable. I was very upset when I was told about it, and my Ministry of Home Affairs, spoke with MFA yesterday and said that the embassy has to take the post down immediately, and they have taken it down. The post is wrong at many levels. First, it is insensitive and inappropriate. It carries a risk of undermining our safety, security, and harmony in Singapore. We look after the safety of everyone in Singapore, majority and minority. That includes Muslims, Jews, who are minorities in Singapore. There is a vibrant Jewish community here that contributes much to our community and country. Jews here have very little concern for their safety and security. Posts like these can, however, inflame tensions and can put the Jewish community here at risk. The anger from the post can potentially spill over into the physical realm. So in essence, Ministry of Home Affairs has asked for the post to be taken down and made our views very clear to the Israeli embassy, because it is unacceptable from the perspective of safety and security in Singapore. Second, it is wrong to selectively point to religious texts to make a political point. Even worse, in this current situation, for the Israeli embassy to make use of the Quran for this purpose. Third, this post is an astonishing attempt to rewrite history. The writer of the post should look at UN resolutions, see if Israel's actions in the past few decades have been consistent with international law before trying to rewrite history. But we didn't intervene on that basis. We told them to take it down because of the potential consequences for the different communities within Singapore. Often, embassies say and put out posts, statements, which we may disagree with, but we generally don't intervene because they represent sovereign countries, they have autonomy, but where it affects the safety and security of people in Singapore, the peace and harmony that we enjoy, we do and we will intervene. Thank you.
Now, if you look at the language and tone, the K. Shanmugam is not just saying that, we cannot accept your social media post. It's saying that this is Singapore, where the Jewish people are minority, and such posts do not augur well for their safety. So you have to be mindful. That's number one. Number two, it's also saying that, look, Israel, we know how many UN resolutions you have violated in the past. But our anger is not based on that. The basis of our current anger is not the repeated violations of United Nations Security Council's resolutions in the past, but the fact that you have decided to indulge in cheap theatrics by disrespecting a community's holy book, which cannot be tolerated. And I think that's a very, very powerful message. And Israel understood, and that's why they had to take down the post. That's Shanmugam, who's the Home Minister and responsible for maintaining law and order in the country. This is Vivian Balakrishnan. Mind you, only a week ago, Balakrishnan was in Israel. He met Netanyahu and told him on his face that Israel had gone too far in Gaza. And he said that, I mean, Israel may not listen to us, but it was my job to tell the truth on his face. This is what Balakrishnan had to say on the current controversy.
We communicate with them highly inappropriate, to make references to sacred texts in order basically just to score political points. I mean, that's not on. So we told them, and they complied immediately. But again, it's just a reminder. Please be careful how and what you say, and bear in mind the fact that we're in Singapore. In Singapore, we do things differently. And with all due respect to foreign countries, we think that on the management of race, language, and religion, I think, for what it's worth, I think we are a positive example.
So Balakrishnan is saying two very, very important things here. Number one, this is Singapore. So implying that this is not Israel, where you can get away by doing any kind of things, even by killing 30,000 people. This is Singapore. And we do things differently. That's what he's saying. He's saying we do things differently. And he's also saying that the message has been received well by Israeli people, and that's why they had decided to take down the post. I think this episode may be a very small development concerning a very small country, but it sends a very powerful message that something that has not been able, something the Western countries, so-called superpower, so-called saviors of democracy, so-called ambassadors of free speech, they haven't been able to do that. You see the venom that Israeli spokespersons or their foot soldiers spew in these countries, and they go unchallenged because challenging them would be deemed as anti-Semitism. Now, the Singapore government has shown that no, criticizing wrong is not anti-Semitism, and they have grown that spine and they have told the truth. When will the Western countries and the Arab world grow that spine? That's $1 million question. Thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways that you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.